Keith Lipscomb from ESPN's hanging out with us now. What's happening, man?
How you going, guys?
How's your convention so far?
Oh, it's always good, man.
Yeah.
It's just always good to see people and catch up and just kind of, reconnect. I mean, you don't get a chance to do that very often. You're sitting in the office and that it's just nice to get here and see everybody in person and have some good conversations, not just always about business. It's good to talk about life, too.
All right, so we're going to talk about business.
Okay, I like business.
I'm just kidding, man. You did the draft last night.
Yeah, we did.
When people see it, it'll be a few days ago. But,
yes.
How do you think it went?
I thought it was good. It took a little bit different approach. Mike Clay was sitting with me, and we were just discussing the whole time. And when the draft, we picked 10th, I picked 11th, and we ended up with Arian Foster in the first round. And immediately you could hear some groans from the crowd, injuries. But the reality is, when he plays, he's very good. And at some point in time, you can't worry about the risk with injuries because in football, injuries happen all the time. So we just said, we were discussing it back and forth, and I said, I know I'm good with Foster, and I know that Mike is a big Foster guy this season in particular. So when Foster, and then on the way back, you could have taken a receiver there. You could have had Julio Jones. There's a lot of guys that, if you're saying best available, you could have taken that guy. But we knew there's going to be a million receivers left, and so we'll just keep waiting, and that's what we did at receiver. But you have to play it by ear in each draft. I don't think you just, you don't go in saying we have to take 3 running backs in the first 4 picks and things like that because you can really saddle yourself with a team that you're not happy with at the end if you do that. So
one of the things when you talk about an expert draft is, do you go in trying to win the league, or are you trying to set the precedent for your readers and put together strong ADPs?
For me, I play it by ear. I don't worry about how it's viewed by others. This is just my approach. I like to take a team when my pick comes up. I just say, okay, what is the climate at each position? I look at it and I say, wow, there's still about 12 receivers I like here. There's only 2 running backs I like here. I'll take that running back, and I know that I'm going to get at least 1, maybe 2 of those 12 receivers, when I come back. So I don't worry so much about, holding to ADPs or making the company look good, or because in my mind, hopefully, if I do it right, or whatever right is,
right,
it's going to work out anyway. You have to have confidence in that, because otherwise, you're just. If I just go off a draft list, I could just say, oh, I'm conforming to this. It's not going to ruffle any feathers. This is the right pick as far as this ADP goes. I don't know. That's no fun to me. That's an auto pick.
Right. Right.
If you go auto pick, that's what you're going to come up with. So I like to just go with my gut, and you've already done the research, so the gut is. There's information in there. It's not a complete gut call.
It's the Malcolm Gladwell thing. Yeah. You think you're making this gut call, but really it's all that information has come through.
Yeah, it's not truly. I'm not sitting here going, oh, let's see, I like guys with alliteration. I'm going to go with Steve Smith. I like Steve Smith. That sounds good. It's
right.
Not, you've already done the research, so it's not like you're just going completely gut call. But there is an element of reacting to the draft, and I think that's really important. It's something that if I had to say one thing I would tell people to do, it's you got to go with the flow of the draft. You can't get into this, I have to get a tight end. I really like, once Gronk's gone to me, and this even throws Graham in there, once Gronk's gone, wait.
Julius Thomas?
Julius Thomas slid like crazy.
I know, he did in ours too.
And there was a point where I was like, well, now I'm going to take him. And then he went. But he needed to go at that point in time. That was important that he went when he did, because at that point, now he's a value. Because even if he doesn't, he's not going to score 12 touchdowns probably in Jacksonville. But I think that, why can't he score 6? Why can't he have 55 catches for 750 yards and 6 touchdowns, which is fine where he was drafted, because he was drafted so late. I just think that there's a point where a guy's, the hate has gone way too far. So, and that was definitely the case with him last night. But Jason Witten, the same thing. I know he's not, he's not a young guy anymore, but he's been productive. He's still got a quarterback that throws, accurately, and he's still his favorite receiver, including Dez. I think he still likes Jason Witten as much as he likes Dez.
Another year with Linehan. All this stuff is building.
Until he falls off, I'm going to buy on Jason Witten, and I'll wait, because you can wait.
What's interesting in the whole scheme? 5 years ago, running back. Now we see more PPR leagues. We see wide receivers go in the first round. you the type of guy that got to get your running backs early still, or can you wait?
You know, I think this year, I think there were about 12 running backs I like, with Forsett being my 12th. And Forsett being, because of the situation with the change of coordinators, I really think that they're going to throw the ball, and he'll be that pass-catching back. Now, there are people that say he did this one time, and we don't believe. And I understand that. I don't think that – I'm not 100% sure this is going to be the case, because you could say, oh, Taliaferro is going to steal goal line touches, or what. These things could all happen. But if I had to cut it off at 12, I felt like, okay, I need to make sure I get – at least one of these guys. You know, in a 14-team league, it is possible you could get shut out. You know, I was picking 11th, so I knew I wasn't going to get completely shut out. But I really didn't want to take Forsett in the first round either.
Right.
You know, so there's a point where I wouldn't go that far. I would wait until on the way back at 18 or something like that. So yeah, I mean, running back, I think I'm willing to. I cut it off about 12, and then I can wait, because a lot of those guys, you know, they're going to emerge. The C.J. Andersons. Every year, there's going to be somebody who emerges, not because of the fact that they weren't talented, they just weren't getting that opportunity. So, yeah, I think there is a tier there. In the tier of wide receivers, there's just so many.
Keith, you mentioned C.J. Anderson, and I've kind of been grouping him with Justin Forsett, because, you know, Forsett had a lot of success in the Gary Kubiak system. Kubiak over in Denver now. Is there a chance maybe C.J. Anderson doesn't, you know, like, get the system, and it's Monte Ball or Ronnie Hillman who kind of emerge, and Anderson goes in the back burner? It's a risk thing that I haven't heard a lot about this preseason.
I mean, it is possible. I think because they're going to be so run heavy, I think that they will go run heavier, and I think that's going to affect Peyton, and I think it's going to affect it's going to affect everything. It could be for his benefit too, Peyton, as well, because it may cause him to be more successful despite maybe some of the limitations that he could be facing. Yeah, I know there's some people that may not want to hear that, but
look, man, we speak the truth here, right? Yeah.
But I do agree that it's possible that there could be enough for two mouths there, and I mean, I think C.J. Anderson is the best back there. I really do like C.J. Anderson. However, you know, it's possible that he could take that and say, well, if Monte Ball is, you know, because coaches like different guys. You know, maybe Monte Ball does fit more of what, you know, he wants to use, at least even if as a changeup. And if that's the case, does it eat into C.J. Anderson's total and make him more of a, you know, fringe RB1, you know, RB2 guy? You know, it's possible. I still think Anderson is going to have a nice season, personally. I just need to see it from Monte Ball. I mean, I thought we'd see it. You know, I really did. I must say, I'm not going to say that I didn't believe in Monte Ball, because I did. I thought coming out of school, I thought he was going to be solid. And he still has time to be solid. That's the part that we forget here. C.J. Anderson, it wasn't his first year out of school last year. You know, he's been around. You know, these guys, sometimes it takes a few years to get it, or a coach that really believes in them for them to get that opportunity. So it is possible, and I think it's interesting that you bring it up, because I don't think enough people are bringing that up, because it's possible that a guy like that can say, we can go with two mouths to feed here. More teams are doing that as it is,
right? So
why can't they do it if they're going to go run heavier?
Keith Lipscomb, ESPN. We got to hit a break, man. Commercial time. Yeah. Thanks for swinging by, man. It's
definitely
cool. Dude, I haven't seen you in years. It's been a while,
it's been a few.
Yeah, it has been. Keith Lipscomb from ESPN. Check him out on. Well, gee, I don't even know where you can find the results of the draft. Probably SiriusXM Fantasy has some links and stuff.
Yeah, that might be the best place to find it right now.
Yeah,
I haven't received a link myself, other than the fact that I can get it because of my team.
Well, this is Keith and Mike Clay, right? That's kind of like, yeah.
Mike Clay had a hand in this team. I'm not going to take any credit away there. He had a hand. We talked a lot.
Credit or blame? Which is that?
Mike says if we do well, it'd be credit. Otherwise, he says he didn't want to hear about it. So.
Well, thanks for coming by. Yeah, all right. Well, you know, I got the Vaccaro problem too. You know, we'll see how this all shakes out. We'll be right back with more of coverage of the Fantasy Sports Trade Association Summer Conference here in New York. It's the Fantasy Sports Network. Stay tuned for more.